Today in Gwinnett County, where safety concerns are intensifying after a student's death.
This group of parents say the violence has gotten out of hand, pointing to a shooting where a Norcross High School student was shot off campus. Now they're calling on the superintendent and the Board of Education to all resign. Do you worry about your children's safety?
Absolutely.
Balana Nowak is scared and frustrated. The Gwinnett County mother of two says she worries every time she sends her kids off to school.
Having a son with autism there who has anxiety and everything else, if he gets attacked or dragged into a bathroom and beaten, he's not going to fight back.
There's been a series of fights in the district and a series of gun violence incidents, including a deadly off-campus shooting of a Norcross High School student this week.
They're not learning rules and following these rules.
Gwinnett County Public Schools, Georgia's largest school district, recently overhauled how it disciplines students. The move came after data compiled by the district showed that in 2019, GCPS sent more students to alternative schools because of tribunals than Atlanta, Clayton, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton County school districts combined. But since the restructuring of those tribunals, parents argue that violence in the district has actually gone up and the new system isn't working.
Restorative practices mean we're supposed to tell you not to do it again. We're not going to get you in real big trouble. Here's your freebie. And maybe that's fine at the elementary level. Little kids, hey, no, not supposed to lie. That's not good. Let's not do that. 15-year-old kids beating the hell out of each other against lockers, there's no restorative practice for that.
I did reach out to the superintendent's office today for comment on this story. We have yet to hear back, but earlier this week in a video message online, the superintendent said that he denounces the violence and he plans to bring the community, including law enforcement, all together in the coming days to talk about ways to keep students safe. In Norcross, Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
All right, y'all, let's talk about this for a minute. So we see what's going on and we hear what's going on here in Gwinnett County, Georgia in the school system. It's a disgrace. It's awful. We got violence, crime is on the rise. We got kids setting things on fire in the bathrooms in high schools around here. It's terrible. And here's a broadcast where, you saw everything that they described that was going on in the video here with the newscast, and the superintendent responds with a video message, instead of coming on condemning the actions of the students and, really appearing to be that is interested in remedying this problem. This is not good at all. Shout out to Stephen Smith as well, one of the the guys that's been going to the school board meetings, speaking out, trying to get things done and get this board to do the right thing. So let's look at a little bit of history. We've hired Watts, and I've not seen any improvements at all. The job he's doing and whatever implement is obviously not working. Teachers are frustrated from what I see and hear. Parents are frustrated. Students are not safe. I think within the last year or so, I've seen a lot of parents at school board meetings talking about the SROs and how they was rolling that back. But you turn around, you got a bunch of SROs at school board meetings, though, to protect supposed to protect the school board from the parents, the concerned parents. I don't get that. Anytime you have organizations where you don't have levels of rules and you don't prosecute those rules, then you're going to have chaos. And I'm sure the teachers are frustrated. They're not there to raise these kids. They're supposed to be there to teach them. A child that doesn't have discipline, and this starts at the house. This starts at home. You can't teach them. When you enter into the military and places like that, that's one of the main things that they focus on. They can't train you if you don't have discipline. In the school system, it's the same thing. You can't learn. You're a distraction. Your kids can be a distraction to other kids, or your kids can be unsafe because of other kids and what they're doing, taken away from their education. And what about the people like myself? My kids are homeschooled, but I still pay into the school system for other children to be able to go out there and get a good education. And kids that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing ought to be expelled, suspended, or whatever the school set forth to do. But we shouldn't lean into leniency, because one particular group is getting in trouble more than the other group. That's insane. If they're getting in trouble more, that's a parenting problem. We can't make this about groups and race. Enough of this nonsense. We know that Alvin Wilbanks was the superintendent before Calvin Watts. So let's pull up his bio and see, read a few things about him for those who are not familiar with this gentleman. Let's read through this together. All right. So this is from the Gwinnett County Public Schools website. So we're just going to go through a little bit of this. J. Alvin Wilbanks was named Chief Executive Officer and Superintendent of Gwinnett County Public Schools in March of 1996. Under his leadership, the school district has earned a reputation as one of the most successful in the country. I repeat that. The school district has earned a reputation as one of the most successful in the country. The board foundation selected GCPS as a finalist for the prestigious board prize for the urban education 3 times, in 2009, 2010, and 2014, and awarded Gwinnett the broad prize in 2010 and 2014. As superintendent, Mr. Wilbanks has been tapped by 3 Georgia governors and 2 United States Secretaries of Education to help craft significant education reform legislation at the state and federal levels. He served 7 years as the chairman of the Board of Trustees for Teachers Retirement Systems of Georgia. In 2017, Governor Nathan Deal appointed Mr. Wilbanks to chair the Joint Study Committee charged with establishing a statewide school leadership academy for Georgia. He is a leader in organizations that advocate for public education at the state and national levels, including the Georgia Education Coalition and the National Large Countywide and Suburban District Consortium. Mr. Wilbanks is the founding president of Gwinnett Technical College, which opened in 1984. Throughout his career, he has won numerous honors for his professional accomplishments and civic contributions, including being named 2005 Georgia Superintendent of the Year as one of 4 finalists for the national title. Other major honors include Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year, the Boy Scouts of America's Distinguished Citizen Award, Gwinnett Clean and Beautiful's Environment Legacy Award, the honoree at its a page-turning event that recognized outstanding business and civic leaders for their contributions to public education in Georgia. In 2018, Mr. Wilbanks and the Gwinnett County Board of Education were named the state's first ever Governance Team of the Year by the Georgia School Boards Association. Mr. Wilbanks was honored in 2019 with the Georgia Association for Career and Technical Education's first Lifetime Achievement Award. Mr. Wilbanks earned his bachelor's and master's degree in education from the University of Georgia, so Georgia grown, and his education specialist degree from Georgia State University. He is a member of several professional organizations and is a leader in his church. Okay, so we trade out J. Alvin Wilbanks, a gentleman who had furthered the legacy of Gwinnett County Public Schools being one of the best in the whole country. So we remove him, or the school board voted to end his contract early to get Calvin Watts in here. Guys, this doesn't make any sense to me at all. I'm a sports guy, and I would liken it to this for any football fans. We know that Georgia has a great team and a great coach. Matter of fact, he came from the coaching staff over at Alabama. So if I was a football player, or a group of football players going to go play for a great team like Alabama, we wouldn't get in there and vote the coach out, would we? That's essentially what we've done. everybody, a lot of people in the country, a lot of people definitely in the state of Georgia has known that Gwinnett County has always thrived in their school system. So you talking about one of the guys that was leading the charge. We want to get rid of him and replace him with Watts? That's, we are reaping the result of that decision. What's going on in these schools right now is due to poor leadership. Poor leadership. And for us to vote the guy out that's been doing a great job, I want to say us, but for that school board to vote Will Banks out of there was a terrible choice. Terrible choice. So let's look at the history of the other gentleman and see what we can find about him, Calvin Watts. So let's pull this up real quick. So we'll look at the this article here from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. So this one says Gwinnett School Board confirms Calvin Watts as new superintendent. The Gwinnett County Board of Education voted unanimously Friday to hire Calvin Watts as the district's next superintendent. The board and everything, that's a whole nother video probably I could do. Watts will be the first black superintendent of Gwinnett County Public Schools. Why that's even important, I don't know. And see, this is the road that this DEI nonsense leads people down. It doesn't matter what color you are. Because at the end of the day, I was talking to a friend earlier on the phone. And when we pick up the phone and dial 911 in a local municipality, we need help. We're not thinking about, is this going to be a black person that shows? Is it going to be white, Hispanic? That's neither here nor there. Can you do the job is the question. What are your qualifications to be in the position that you're in? Why are we hiring you? Your skin color is not important, obviously. Because in my opinion, whatever Watts is doing is not working. It ain't that Will Banks level. Obviously not. Because look what's going on. More fights breaking out. Let's read on through this because I'm about to. Let me read through this. With a projected enrollment of 180,000 students, Gwinnett is the largest school district in Georgia. Well, and the 13th biggest district in the United States. Thank you for my belief in my ability, Watts told the board after their vote. Watts has served for the past 6 years as superintendent of the Kent School District in suburban Seattle, which enrolls about 27,000 students. Now, this is a fraction of the students we have here in Gwinnett, but similarly diverse, which I don't care about at all. Doesn't matter, because this diversity stuff is speaking to the color of your skin and all this stuff nonsense. None of this stuff has any bearing on skill set. What color you are and all of that. That has nothing to do with your qualifications. And that's what school should be about. Qualifications. All right, let me keep reading this because I keep going off on a tangent. He will replace Will Banks, which this is an old article. We know that Watts is already in there. He replaced J. Alvin Will Banks, whose last day was on that Friday when the school board voted to end his contract. They paid him more than $530,000 in equal to all the salary he would have earned for the remaining 11 months in his contract. I guess they just couldn't wait to get him out of there. Couldn't wait to get this new guy in here. Will Banks was the longest serving current superintendent of the large school district in the United States with a tenure of 25 years. So he had a lot of experience working on this, being a superintendent here in Gwinnett County. I enjoy working together as we attempted to find the best replacement we could for Mr. Will Banks for the sake of the kids of Gwinnett County. Really. Board member Steve Knutson said, I'm super excited to have Dr. Watts here. I think he's going to do a great job. You were incorrect. You were incorrect, Knutson, with that statement. All right, so let's go to some other things about Mr. Watts here. So this is from an article in from KUOW.org. So this is probably somewhere out in Seattle. So the Kent school principals lambast the district leadership in a letter to the school board. Okay. School principals in Kent are calling out the superintendent, Watts, and other district officials for poor leadership. Let me read that sentence again. School principals in Kent are calling out the superintendent and other district officials for poor leadership. The body doesn't work if the head is not right. You understand that? It doesn't work. Not on a football team, a no kind of team. If the leadership is not right, nothing else works. And that's appears to what we're looking at right now. You get rid of good leadership. You can't wait. We can't wait to get Will Banks out of here. That we pay him $530,000 to leave early to get this guy in here. And the writing is literally on the wall, according to these articles. The Kent Principals Association said district executives regularly undermine, ignore, or fail to communicate with principals. Well, we just saw that in the video from the newscast, because they reached out to him to get a comment, and they get some kind of video response. And kids are getting shot at school. Fights breaking out and you get a video response to the local news here in Georgia with all this going on. We see that's poor communication from what I see in my view. But anyway, the Principals Association President Jim Schill, the principal at Matson Middle School, acknowledged that it's highly unusual for school principals to issue a formal rebuke to their higher ups. So they were extremely frustrated with Watts out there. Schill declined to elaborate on the principal's complaints and said his association didn't intend to make their letter public. It was released through a public records request. Okay. As members of the district leadership team, we will remain committed to working through internal channels, Schill said. Our letter speaks for itself, as it does our commitment to our schools, our staff, and our community. Among other things, the letter said Superintendent Calvin Watts missed key meetings and didn't often visit schools, and district leaders excluded principals from budget discussions and decision making, and they made principals appear incompetent to the public and failed to help schools handle with behavioral challenges. Let me say that again. They failed, up under the leadership of Calvin Watts out in Kent, they failed to help school handle students with behavioral challenges. Isn't that what we have going on here in Gwinnett County? Behavioral problems. If you don't have order, you cannot teach. These teachers can't teach. They can't do their job. They're getting frustrated. Quite a few of them are talking about quitting. So we go from great leadership to another set of leadership, and things are falling apart. Who did the research before bringing this guy in here? Here it is. They were having behavioral support problems out in Kent, but we bring him to Gwinnett County to run one of the most prestigious, the best counties as far as schools in Georgia. What a disgrace and what a letdown. You know, as a minority, a lot of people, I've been in Georgia since 01, graduated college or whatever, own a business down here or whatever is my backstory. Been self-employed since 2003. I moved up here from the South Side, you know, and this was before my wife and I had kids. But we had heard about the school system and how great Gwinnett was. It was because of people like Will Banks, who helped set the standard, who led the charge to make sure that these children had a great education in a great environment, and the teachers had the support that they needed. And we turn around and we want him to retire early, pay him $530,000 to end his contract early to get Calvin Watson here. We do more research on a coach's football record than we do on a leader that's supposed to be leading children, that's responsible for our children's education, which is our future and the future of this nation. This DEI is a disgrace. A disgrace. And most minorities and all people are not concerned about this race stuff. This is a divisive mechanism to keep people thrown off and arguing about something and keep people's emotions high. If you do what you're supposed to do and you meet the qualifications to attain a certain job, then that should be the most important thing. Don't care what color you are. Doesn't matter. It don't matter when it comes to mathematics. There ain't no black and no white number one, and all of it is 1 + 1 = 2. That's just how it works. But I'm looking at the article here, and it says he failed to help the schools handle students with behavioral challenges. They wanting him out of there, from what I'm reading. The Kent Teachers Union recently reaffirmed its 2018 no confidence vote in Watts. So this is an old article. I guess it was back in 2019. But a year prior, it's saying that the teachers union had a no confidence vote in him. Some district parents recently filed suit against district leaders for financial mismanagement. In a letter responding to the Principals Association District, the teachers district, let me say that again. In a letter responding to the Principals Association, I'm getting a little excited. District officials made suggestions for better communication, but admitted no wrongdoing. Watts issued a written statement to KUOW that said district leaders are committed to continuous improvement and feedback from our team members and colleagues. Sound like some stuff he's saying now. Let me say that again. So in response, he issued a written statement to KUOW. This is the website I'm reading from. I guess it's some kind of it's radio station or some organization out there. That the district that said district leaders are committed to continuous improvements and feedback from our team members and colleagues. Both individually and as a group, we take constructive criticism seriously, as this is part of the performance culture we are co-creating, Watts said. The Kent School District has dealt with it with years of financial problems and plans to make further school staffing cuts next school year. Man, there's nothing surprising about this. You know, we're seeing a repeat of what happened in Kent, but he had maybe 1/5 of the responsibility as far as the number of students that and teachers that he was basically leading. We got a serious problem out here in Gwinnett County, and it's the leadership. It's the leadership. Ain't not the kids' fault. Kids do, if anybody with children, kids will do anything whatever they can do to get away with. That's just the bottom line. This is a leadership problem. If we don't resolve this, if it means getting rid of these people, resigning, whatever they need to do to get out of the way of these children's education. This social justice, social learning, and all of this stuff has no material value. No material value. We got to make a change. I shout out to all the parents that have been going to the school boards. I've been trying to keep up with everything that's going on. Keep doing what you're doing. Run for school board. Advocate that we get rid of people that don't, vote them out of office or what have you. Whatever we can do within a legal parameter to make a difference here in Gwinnett County, because these children don't deserve what's going on right now. This is a repeat in my view of what Watts did out in Washington. That's what we getting right now. But the question is, Why did we get rid of? Why did Will Banks need to go again? Unless he really wanted to retire. Why did he need to go again? Because we've taken a step down here in Gwinnett County. People are moving out. You know, I know Steve is a great guy. He goes to the school board meetings. He sells houses, and I'm sure he hasn't told me this. A bunch of people probably trying to get the heck out of Gwinnett right now. And it's this poor leadership at this Gwinnett County public school level. Poor leadership. We know that the school system and schools affect the value of houses. People don't want their investments going downhill. People don't want their kids in danger because some other kid need 4 and 5 chances because they can't do what they supposed to do in school. That's not our problem. That's a parenting problem. The public school system are not parents of these children. We supposed to set a list of rules that are safe and equal for every student, no matter what color you are. And if you can't obey the rules, you need to suffer the consequences. Ain't nothing personal about this. You know, so we got to do better. We got to get this right here in Gwinnett County. We got to start calling it out. And I see a lot of people doing it. Right now, it's a Fire Watch campaign going on. But I would argue that a whole slew of people need to go behind him. Based on what I'm seeing and hearing. This needs to change. All of this woke social justice stuff and that's being implemented, in my opinion, and codified into the school and how they're doing things with this soft discipline needs to go. Fighting at football games out here in Brookwood. That's awful. It's terrible. There are some kids, a lot of kids that I will argue, that want to go to school and feel safe and be safe and get a good education that's going to be worth something. But that's not what's happening. All these distractions, kids selling drugs, setting stuff on fire in the bathrooms in these high schools and everywhere else. All this stuff got to stop. You know how you put a stop to it? Start prosecuting crimes that's being committed on schools grounds. Start prosecuting them based on the guidelines that's set forth. That's how you stop that. But it's not going to stop until the leadership gets serious about the job and their duty that they're supposed to do, which is keep these kids safe, provide a great education that's going to produce some material value in the future for these children, and support these teachers in the way that they need to be supported in, and stop putting them on the carpet, making them feel like they've done something wrong when you got students that's assaulting them and saying whatever they want to the teacher. It needs to start with what these children say out of their mouth. If you ain't got no respect for teachers, you ain't got no place in the school. You don't belong here. Because if you don't have order, you have chaos. And nothing good is going to come out of that. We got to get it together in here in Georgia public schools again. We got to get this right. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I got this green shirt on today because it's go time. November 8th, we got to vote because everything in the country is the law of relativity. One thing affects everything. So we got to get out here and vote.